Open letter to the UN, the U.S. government, and all peace-loving international communities. August 17, 2021. Your Excellency, Mr. Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America, and Vice President Kamala Harris. Your Excellency, Mr. Antonio Guterres, the United Nations Secretariat General, New York. Honorable members of Congressmen and women, and Senators of United States of America. The United Nations Human Rights Higher Commissioner, Geneva. The Amnesty International, Human Rights Center London, and Geneva. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, Geneva. All the member states of the United Nations, New York. Your Excellencies. The Ethiopian dire and deteriorating situation. We, the Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, were deeply thankful for your time to look into the dire situation in Ethiopia. We Ethiopians want to kindly request the United Nations, the United States government, and the international community to help us achieve 7 critical objectives. 1. Stop the war unconditionally by UN intervention immediately in Ethiopia. 2. Immediately suspend the 1995 fraudulent pseudo-constitution of TPLF, Tigray People Liberation Front, and OLF, Oromo Liberation Front, by United Nations decision intervention. 3. Bring to international justice the TPLF and OLF factions, including Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed for his cooperation with their hidden cessation crime, undermine the United Nations power, and his deep cover manipulation of Ethiopian people, because the United Nations cannot deny that Ethiopia is a sovereign country and member state of United Nations from 1923 until now and forever. For it, the Ethiopian people are seeking help strongly from the United Nations and the US, like Rwanda, to make a national referendum for a new constitution, and its implementation immediately to save millions of lives. 5. Call Ethiopians for national dialogue all-inclusive to discuss the new proposed constitution. A proposed constitution draft is already on hand for the people. 6. Emergency food assistance for all internally displaced people in Ethiopia, which are about 4 million. 7. Support for war and genocide victims, those millions of Ethiopians displaced from their homes by TPLF and OLF, the current government. The root cause of Ethiopian misery. In 1991, U.S. government helped the separatist forces EPLF/TPLF/OLF. Their alliance was brought to power even if OLF was pushed away due to tactical misalignment between TPLF and OLF. Finally, Ethiopia transferred to the two rebels, and the EPLF and TPLF teams separated Eritrea from Ethiopia. As a result, EPLF ruled Eritrea while TPLF ruled Ethiopia for 27 years and transferred its place to Oromo Liberation Front, which Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has been ruling for the past 3 years. These 3 political groups, the Eritrean People's Front, the Tigray People's Front, and the Oromo Liberation Front, share the same strategic outcomes to create Republic, or the Republic of Eritrea, the Greater Republic of Tigray, and the Republic of Oromia, etc. Also, no Ethiopians understood their hidden agenda until they faced the horrors of apartheid in their sovereign country. Moreover, TPLF implemented their apartheid 1995 fraudulent, illegal, and pseudo-criminal constitution. They used their hidden manipulation agenda targeting Ethiopia to destroy a sovereign nation and a member state of the United Nations. The TPLF constitution fraudulently creates a new 9 confederate sovereign member states, which have the unconditional right to self-determination, including secession, to create their country. The outcome of the 1995 fraudulent and pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front create horrible apartheid in Ethiopia, especially eradicating Amhara, and burned more than 30 Orthodox churches. That is a fact, and well-documented genocide already had been happened in the 21st century. How did TPLF and Oromo Liberation manipulate the Ethiopian people, UN, USA, and all international communities? The answer is straightforward, that is, by deep covering Article 47. TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front intrigued the Ethiopian people in 2 ways. 1. They wrote Article 47, using the Ethiopian national language Amharic, and Amharic alphabets translating to the Ethiopian people tricking as 9 ethnic-based regionals, or 9 kills, that is false because a simple meaning of state is a country. 2. The English version of Article 47, which registered to UN or ICCPR, shows the member states of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and additionally. On number 2, it says these countries have the right to establish, at any time, their own country. The lists of countries in 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front are as follows. 1. The country of Tigray. 2. The country of Afar. 3. The country of Amhara. 4. The country of Oromia. 5. The country of Somalia. 6. The country of Benshangul/Gumas. 7. The country of the southern nations, nationalities, and peoples. 8. The country of the Gambella peoples. 9. The country of the Harari people. Excellencies. These all damages and millions of Ethiopian people displacements, death and misery is the outcome of Tigray People Liberation Front, TPLF, and Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, faction rebels imposed 1995 transitional, ethnocentric, defective, destructive, illegal, fraudulent, and criminal constitution created ethnic divisions between Ethiopians. We want to share a little history about our constitutional journey with you because the Constitution is an integral part of one nation's life as we all are citizens of one country. Additionally, the Constitution's primary purpose is to hold the ultimate existence of the nation and its people because the Constitution serves as the country's backbone, and this is the key to national peace and harmony. Furthermore, the Constitution provides the basic legal framework for a democracy and the rule of law because it is essential to build a wave of peace, to create inclusive institutions in divided societies. Therefore, Ethiopia has had only 3 legitimate constitutions: the 1931 Constitution of Ethiopia, the 1955 Constitution of Ethiopia, and the 1987 Constitution of Ethiopia. However, the 1931 Constitution, Ethiopia's first written constitution in its 3,000-year history, was introduced the first written constitution by Father Emperor Haile Selassie as a contract between himself and the Ethiopian people. Finally, Emperor Haile Selassie revised the Ethiopian constitution. Also, he promulgated to the people through proclamation on November 4, 1955, to advance the Ethiopian government and citizens' lives toward the modern world. Our father, Imperial Haile Selassie, reformed Ethiopian national universal land with 14 administrative boundaries using a provincial model with no domestic territorial boundaries and integrate the diverse ethnic and religious communities to live together harmoniously without domestic border division in a sovereign nation. That means there is no Tigray land, Amhara land, Oromo land, Benshangul-Gumas land, the Southern People land, Gambella land, Somali land, Afar land, Shoa land, Harari land, and Sidama land in the sovereign state of Ethiopia because we Ethiopians still have had universal national land for 3,000 years together as a people. The Ethiopian history is not Yugoslavia or Russian because Ethiopia has always been one nation in the world for more than 3,000 years. United Nations history can witness its 3,000 years existence as one nation. Also, Emperor Haile Selassie comprised into 1955 constitution all the territories, including its ports and islands, territorial waters, under the sovereignty of Ethiopia, stating the territories of Ethiopia are indivisible and inalienable territories of sovereign Ethiopia. And the United Nations internationally recognized that up to now, since the admission of Ethiopia to the League of Nations in 1923. Also, the last legitimate constitution of Ethiopia filed to United Nations International Covenant on Civil and Political Right, ICCPR, archive exists for 34 years, is the only 1987 constitution. After that, there is no legitimate constitutional referendum has been done. Also, 1987 has inherited from 1955 all territorial integrity, 14 provinces of Ethiopia administrative boundary and universal national land of sovereign Ethiopia, just adding the most crucial part of the Constitution's preamble: we the working people of Ethiopia. Dear Excellencies, The Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association would like to emphasize to you and the United Nations, our allies, including international communities, about the dangerous criminal of 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front secret their cessation plan, and why the Ethiopian people are fighting tirelessly and losing their precious lives without United Nations help. For 30 years, the Ethiopian people refused to accept, give consent, and ratify the current fraudulent 1995 transitional pseudo-constitution imposed on the Ethiopian people. Therefore, we Ethiopians are exhausting because we lost too many lives, especially the Ethiopian heroes, educators and doctors' lives. For example, Professor Asrat Woldeis, the famous Ethiopian surgeon, Dr. Ambacha Mekonnen, an Ethiopian who served as the president of the Amhara Kilil or country, was assassinated by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed government associating it with a fake coup attempt of his government, but the truth is Dr. Ambacha was fighting to change the current fraudulent 1995 TPLF/OLF transitional pseudo-constitution. In addition, the Army Chief of Staff General Ser Mekonnen and retired Major General Gazai Abra, Brigadier General Asaminat Sij was an Ethiopian general who served as chief of the Amhara Region Security Forces. Also, two other top government officials, these six the most prominent Ethiopians assassinated in one day by the Abiy Ahmed government, alleging a false coup attempt of Abiy Ahmed's government on June 24, 2019. However, they only have opposed the 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and the Oromo Liberation Front. Additionally, thousands of political prisoners, including Eskinder Nega, are currently in jail oppose Ethiopia's current fraudulent transitional 1995 pseudo-constitution of TPLF and the Oromo Liberation Front. Primarily, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed struggled for his whole life with OLF and TPLF to destroy Ethiopia. Also, currently, his hidden agenda is obvious. He is killing the Tigrayan people to separate them from Ethiopia, because that will give him an open door, and to have an excellent opportunity to proclaim Oromia country, including taking the Ethiopian capital city of Addis Ababa to creating a new country of Oromia, in the sovereign Ethiopian country by changing the lives of millions of Ethiopians people into ashes. Secondly, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed highly depended on the current fraudulent 1995 transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and OLF rebels because they manipulated and deceived the Ethiopian people and the world communities. Thirdly, he tries to implement embedded poisons in the 1995 transitional fraudulent pseudo-constitution unusual and unique features of the Tigray Liberation Front, TPLF, and Oromo Liberation Front destiny to destroy sovereign Ethiopia. They never wrote the current 1995 transitional fraudulent pseudo-constitution to the Ethiopian people's unity, integrity, and sovereignty of Ethiopia. Instead, they wrote for TPLF and OLF for their secession plan and interest to dismantle sovereign Ethiopia. Fourthly, a major crime of 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front invalidity, and its defects, are as follows. 1. 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front is never promulgating to the Ethiopian people to discuss. 2. It is invalid because it was written to TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front cessation interest only, but it has nothing to do with sovereign Ethiopia. 3. No Ethiopian people gave consent except TPLF. 4. No Ethiopian people ratified the 1995 TPLF and Oromo Liberation Constitution. However, TPLF was ratified by themselves alone. We have video proof for witnesses. The Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association has enough video evidence of how TPLF cheated and ratified the current 1995 transitional fraudulent pseudo-constitution by themselves only. 1. How they put their clear message and their purposes on their TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front Constitution of 1995 in the first place on their preamble We the Nations. 2. Article 3, on the Ethiopian flag, a national emblem to reflect the hope of the nations, copying from the Italian 1935 flag fictitious star if Italians succeed to colonize Ethiopia put on the Italian tricolor on their green side. 3. Article 8, states all sovereign power resides in the nations, nationalities, and peoples of Ethiopia. Additionally, Article 8 number 2 says this: the Constitution is an expression of their sovereignty. That means the TPLF and the Oromo Liberation Front are nations, not Ethiopia. For Article 39, number 1 says, every nation, nationality, and people in Ethiopia has an unconditional right to self-determination, including secession. Additionally, Article 39 number 4 says the right to self-determination, including secession, of every nation, nationality, and people. Here is our tentative implication proposal after the national referendum for a new constitution. 1. According to the new constitution of Ethiopia, all independent institutions commissioners including federal court judges, constitutional court judges, commissioners comprising Civil Service Commission, Audit Commission, Election Commission and Human Rights Commission will take their places. 2. The Ethiopian Defense Ministry and Ministry of Information will become an independent institution as soon as the national referendum for a new constitution commencement has been done. 3. Police training equally for all 14 provinces. 4. From all 14 provinces, equally pledged national police training completion. 5. Start the presidential race and elect the president through free, fair, and accessible elections according to the new Constitution draft: one person one vote principle. Dear Excellencies, finally, we sincerely request your actions to stop the war in Ethiopia and making EPLF/TPLF and OLF accountable for their crime of fraud and embezzlement on a sovereign Ethiopia which is a UN member since 1923 and forever, untold barbaric genocide, war crime, crime against humanity, tortures and other crimes on Ethiopians. The Ethiopian people are deprived of their human rights in the 21st century. This has to end, and we believe the prime function of UN and all peace-loving institutions is to protect the basic rights of all humanity. Ethiopia has delivered its share as UN member to preserve peace in many African countries and displayed successful alliance with UN and the United States of America. It is now the UN, USA, and all international communities to help Ethiopians in the following 4 critical dooms. 1. Stop the war in Ethiopia unconditionally and immediately by the UN intervention. 2. Immediately suspend the 1995 fraudulent, illegal and criminal pseudo-constitution of TPLF and OLF by United Nations decision intervention. Call Ethiopians for national all-inclusive dialogue to discuss the new proposed constitution, and set a date for making a national referendum for a new constitution, and followed with its immediate implementation like Rwanda. A proposed constitution draft is already on hand for the people. 3. Bring to international justice the EPLF, TPLF and OLF factions, including Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed for his cooperation with their hidden cessation crime, undermining the United Nations power, and his deep cover manipulation of Ethiopian people, because the United Nations cannot deny that Ethiopia is a sovereign country and member state of United Nations from 1923 until now and forever. 4. Emergency food assistance for all internally displaced people from their homes by TPLF and OLF, the current government, in Ethiopia, which are about 4 million. Special support for rape, war and genocide victims of Ethiopians whose life has changed with cruelty. We will wait for your prompt reply, and Almighty God bless you. May God bless Ethiopia, the United States of America, the United Nations, all peace-loving institutions, and the international communities for furthering peace, unity, kindness, sharing, and truth are honorable. Yours respectfully, Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, ESSA, Committee. Mekonnen Doyemo, Chairperson of ESSA. Tefera Demis, Vice Chairperson of ESSA. Dr. Negash Amsalu, Secretary of ESSA. Argash Gevret Sadik, Lawyer. Engineer Mesfin Yilma, Community Organizer. Aster Jesses, Community Organizer. Baruch Yibas, Media Director. Contact 61270228899. Email doyemo1@gmail.com. CC. Honorable Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. The Congressional Hearing on Conflict in Ethiopia Committee. Honorable Representative Gregory Meeks, Chairperson of Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Representative Michael McCall, Ranking Member, Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Chris Smith, U.S. Congressman and distinguished members of House Foreign Relations Committee. Honorable Representative Karen Bass, California, Ranking Member of African Affairs, Global Health, Global Human Right. Honorable Representative Chris Smith, Ranking Member. Honorable Representative Scott Perry, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Darrell Issa, California. Honorable Representative David Cicilline, Rhode Island. Honorable Representative Adam Daniel Kinzinger, Illinois. Honorable Representative Dina Titus, Nevada. Honorable Representative Tim Burchett, Tennessee. Honorable Representative Susan Wild, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Gregory Stube, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Dean Phillip, Minnesota. Honorable Representative August Pfluger, Texas, Ranking Member Subcommittee Europe, Energy and Environment. Honorable Representative Andy Levin, Michigan, Asia-Pacific Relations. Honorable Representative Joaquin Castro, Texas, International Development, International Organization and Global Social Impact Subcommittee. Honorable Ronnie Jackson, Global Health and Human Rights Committee. Honorable Representative Ihan Omar, Minnesota, Vice Chair, African Affairs, Global Health and Global Human Right. Honorable Representative Young Kim, Asia-Pacific Non-Proliferation. Honorable Representative Tom Malinowski, New Jersey. Honorable Representative Andy Kim, New Jersey. Honorable Representative Sarah Jacobs, California, Vice Chair, International Development. Honorable Representative Juan Vargas, California, Vice Chair of International Western Hemisphere. Civilian Security, Migration and Economic Policy, U.S. Senate. Honorable Senator Menendez, Chairman. Honorable Senator Rich, Ranking Member. Honorable Senator Kitotrend. Honorable Ambassador Robert Goduk, Acting Assistant Secretary for Bureau of African Affairs for U.S. Department of State. Honorable Ms. Sarah Charles, USAID's Assistant to Administrator for the Bureau of Humanitarian Affairs. Honorable Mrs. Samantha Power, Administrator, U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. Honorable Robert O'Neill, Senior Desk Officer, Horn of Africa Office of East African Affairs, U.S. Agency for International Development.